Orale, Holmes, it's me, Little Hater. Hey, check it out, Dag. Before we get started on today's episode, do me a huge favor. Like and subscribe to the channel. Come on, Dag. All right, Dag, let's get started with this week's episode.
Spoiler alert! Who cares? Watch it anyway.
All right, Dag, check it out. Today we're going to be reviewing the movie Her. That's right, Dag. It's about this vato right here. Yeah, a lonely vato named Theodor, right? He's got no buddies. He looks sad. You know what? So he goes home. And what's he do? He decides to call the number. That's right. He goes, I'm looking for some lovins. So he gets on the phone and he starts listening to these messages. And then he gets having the phone sex. That's right, Dag. He gets kinkies. And this girl telling him, yeah, Dag, come on, give it to me. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to give it to you good. And then she goes, choke me with the dead cat. Yeah, that's right, Dag. She goes, choke me with the dead cat. It throws this vato off. He goes, man, I'm not into that. But he goes through it anyway because he goes, you know what? I got to get my rocks off. You know what? So then they have the phone sex. And then after that, he's laying in bed and the girl goes, okay, bye. And he's like, man, that's some strange hyena. And he goes, I can't deal with that. It's time for me to find a new ruka, a real ruka, right? But the problem is, he doesn't look for a new ruka, Dag. He looks for an OS. You know what it means? An operating system. That's right, Dag. He was walking around and he saw that they were advertising an OS system. And he says, you know what? I might get into that, Dag. So he buys the OS system, right? In his computers, you know, that is tied into his phone. And it's tied into the internet, Dag. And guess who he meets? Samantha, Dag. That's his computers, you know? And, you know, they start like talking. And then she's all like, I'm always evolving and I'm always learning. I'm kind of like a humans, like yous. You know how you always grow and you always evolve? Well, me too, Dag. And he goes, oh, that's firme. So check it out. He begins to have a band with Samantha, Dag. They become homies, Dag. You know, he tells her a lot of stuff, and she's all like, yeah, Dag, you know, I understand you, Dag. I feel you, Dag. I know what you're going through, Dag. And then she goes, you know what? Why don't you go on a date with this one mija? She looks pretty firme. And then she's all like, yeah? And then she's like, yeah, Dag. And I bet she has a fat butt, too. And he goes, I'm going to go out with her, Dag. So he goes out with her, Dag. And they're having lunch. And, man, this is one sexy lady, Dag. And they're having the dinners. And she's laughing because she be drinking. And he be drinking, too. And they're having the funs, Dag. And then what happens, Dag? They go outside and they're kissing, Dag. And I'm all like, it's about to go down. And she goes, wait a minute, Dag. You know, you're not going to be like the other vatos, right? That you're just going to have his fun with me and then never calls me again. And then he goes, I can't promise you, Dag. I can't promise you that. And then after that, Dag, she goes, man, you're a creepy vato. He goes, I'm not a creepy vato. And she goes, yeah, you are, Dag. And then he goes home and he's all sad, Dag. Come on, Dag. You should have just said, yeah, Dag, I'm going to be the guy, Dag. I mean, she was good looking and everything. But he goes, nah, I can't commit, Dag. I'm trying to believe, Dag, that you're the problem, Dag. You're the problem. All right, Dag. So Theodore's all sad because he didn't get himself none. So he goes home, and guess who he ends up hooking up with? His computer, Dag. That's right. The lady that lives on his phone. The lady that's on his earpiece. She's like, Orale, Theodoro. You know what, Dag? You're feeling kind of lonely, and I'm right here on the phone, on the internet, and I'm feeling kind of adventurous. So he goes, why don't we do the nasty? And he's like, what? Come on, Dag. He goes, I didn't get me none, so why not, Dag? So they go at it, Dag. And she starts breathing all hot. Hey, she sounds pretty firme, Dag. And then, you know, they do the do, right? And then he's happy. She's like, I finally got my rocks off, right? And then she's feeling happy too. Come on, Dag. How you feeling happy if you don't got a body, Dag? Come on, Dag. You're just a lady that lives on the internet. And by the way, Dag, when he got his computer, they asked him, do you want it to be a guy voice or a girl voice? And he said, I want a girl voice. So come on, Dag. I thought the computers, it's just the computers, Dag. It's just a different voice. So you don't know what you're doing, Dag. Anyways, he took it. And he was happiest. And then after that, what ended up happening? Oh, yeah, Dag. The next day, Samantha, you know, the computer lady, she calls him, Dag. And she goes, hey, Dag, that was magical. I loved it. It was amazing. And he goes, Dag, I got to tell you something. I can't commit. I don't want anything serious. Hey, what going on, Dag? It's like, it's a computer, Dag. You don't got to commit, Dag. Just, you know, it's like anything serious, come on, Dag. She wasn't touching you, Dag. You were touching yourself, Dag. What's going on, Dag? Ah, man, talk about commitment problems. I'm beginning to think you is the problem, Dag. There's something going on with you. You're a strange vato, dog. You're over there with the firme, like live lady, and then you say chale, and then you go have it on with your computer, and then you don't want to commit to your computer, dog. Something está pasando. Something's going on, dog. So then Samantha goes, hey, you know what, dog? Let's have an adventure. And he goes, I'm down with it. I'm down with it. So then he's having fun, and they're running all the way on the subways. He ends up at the beach, and then Samantha goes, hey, dog, have you ever thought about anal sex? And he goes, what? He goes, yeah, dog. Why do we have our buttholes in our butt? Why not in the armpit? And he's like, I don't know, Doug. That's a good question, Doug. And she goes, check out this filmy picture I just made. And then she shows him, hey, Samantha, there's something wrong with you, Doug. I'm starting to think you're kind of crazy, too. Crazy on top of crazy? That's crazy, Doug. So check it out, Doug. So then what ends up happening is Theodore starts to remember his ex-wife. And I'm all like, his ex-wife? I didn't know you were married, Doug. And she looked like a nice lady, dog. But something happened where they couldn't be together, dog. And then after that, it turns out that nothing happens to her. They were just getting a divorce. They didn't like they did each other no more. And then he goes, you know what? She's got to sign this paperwork. So she goes right, and she goes, I'm gonna meet with Theodor's. And then after that, they're there, and she still likes him. Dog. You could tell she still likes him, and he still likes her too. So it's weird why they can't be together, right? So what ended up happening was, she's all like, "Why you want me to sign the paperwork so quickly?" And he goes, "Cause I found it someone." And she goes, "What? You found it someone?" And she's all like, "Yeah, and I think I'm falling in love with her." And then she's all like, "Oh man, that's gosh, dog. I still kind of like you." And then he goes, "All right, well, hurry up and sign the paper, dog, cause it's getting kind of serious." And then she goes, "Oh, what's her name?" He goes, "Oh, it's Samantha's." He goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Oh, she's the computer lady, dog. That lives in my computers." And then she goes, "What? You're crazy, Dad. What do you mean you're falling in love with a computer lady, Samantha, that lives on your computer and your phone?" And he's like, "Yeah, Dad, don't talk about her like that. She's a real person." And he goes, "Nah, Dad. That's a father, Dad. You know what? You wanted to put me on the Prozacs, and then you fall in love with the computer. There's something wrong with you, Dad." And you know what, Dad? I think he is. He's kind of, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, Dad. I don't know, Dad. This story keeps on getting better and better, Dad. I can't wait to see what happens. So after the lunch with his wife, right, his ex-wife, he's all like, you know what, Doug? Maybe I am a strange vato. He's all like, I don't know what's going on, Doug. I mean, I am dating my computer, Doug, the phone lady, the internet lady, the lady that lives on my phone. So he starts feeling kind of sad about himself. He's like all down. And then after that, what does Samantha do? Man, she steps it up, Doug. She goes, you know what, Doug? I noticed you're kind of sad a little bit. You know what? Because we've been having a lot of the phone sex, but it's just what it really comes down to is just you're just playing with yourself, and I talked it to you. So then she goes, so guess what, Doug? I hired a person, Doug. That's right, Doug. He's like, I hired a person so she could pretend to be my body, and you could have your ways with her. And that vato's like, what? Is she a prostitute? He goes, not, Doug. She's emotionally like damaged, just like me and you, Dad. And she's a real person though, and you can have your ways with her. And then he's like, "All right, that's fear, man." So the chick shows up, right, Dad? And then she doesn't say nothing. And then she gets that earpiece and she starts pretending that she's Samantha, Dad. And they start getting steamy, Dad. But you know what? Theodore says, "You know what? It's not right. It don't feel right. I can't do it." And guess what, Dad? Nothing happened, Dad. And then that girl, the Isabel chick, Isabella chick, she goes, "Hey, Dag, you know what? You made me feel wrong, and I don't know. There's something wrong with both you, the computers, and you, Theodore. You're just crazy, vato." So then the girl goes storming off, and she's crying, right? And then Theodore is sitting down, and he's crying into his Cheerios. He's all like, "I don't know what's wrong with me," and I'm all like, "Vato, it's taking this long for you to realize." We all know they're kind of twisted, Dag. And check it out, Dag. And then after that, Samantha's all like, "Yeah, Dag, I don't know what's going on with you, Dag." And then Theodore goes, "Hey, why you do that, Dad?" And she goes, "What?" He goes, "Why you sigh?" And then she's all like, "I don't know, because that's the way people talk." And he goes, "Hey, Dad, you're not human, Dad. You're just a robot. You can't breathe." And then after that, she goes, "Hey, wait a minute, Dad. Why you being a jerk like that with me?" And he goes, "Cause you don't got no lungs, Dad. You don't need no hairs." And then she goes, "You don't think I know that?" She goes, "Hey, vato, you're fucked up, Dad." And then after that, he goes, "I'm just stating the fact, Dad." And then after that, she gets like emotionally hurts, and he gets emotionally hurt, and they're kind of confused, and they don't know what they're doing. And then after that, you know what? They start talking again. He goes, "Hey, Dad, you know what? Let's make this work, Dad. I believe in this relationship." And then she's like, "All right, let's make it work." So check it out, Dad. After all that, Dad, Theodore goes and he talks to to his friend Amy, dog. And then he's all like, he goes, "Hey, Amy, you look happy." And she goes, "Oh yeah, because I was getting the divorce, but then I also started talking to an OS, an operating system, and it makes me happy, dog." And then after that, Theodore goes, "I got something to tell you, dog. I'm in love with my OS. That's right, Samantha's." And then she goes, "What? That's firme, dog." And guess what, dog? Apparently, it's this thing where everybody's falling in love with their OS, dog. And I'm like, "Hey, come on, dog. What's going on, dog?" So he goes, "Hey, guess what? I'm gonna go on a vacation with her, dog." And he goes, "Oh man, that's firme. That's gonna be romantic." So he falls in love with her, dog. They go out for a couple of months, and he's all happy as can be, dog. So they go on this vacation, dog, and everything's all firme. He wakes up the next day after they finish, yeah, again. And then after that, he's all, he sees rainbows, puppy dogs, and butterflies. And then guess what, Dag? Samantha goes, "Hey, Dag, I'm going to tap in this guy. He's another operating system, and I want you to talk to him." And then after that, he's all like, "All right, Dag, that's kind of weird, but what's up?" And then that guy goes, "Hey, Dag, what's going on?" She goes, "Yeah, this is the other guy I've been talking to." And then Theodore's like, "Wait a minute, you've been talking to another vato?" And she's like, "Yeah, Dag, he's an OS, and we understand each other, and he makes me feel different ways that you've never been able to. Because you guess what, Dag? They're doing the nest in the computer world." And Theodore feels like a fool. And then he's like, "I'm getting played by computers." "Yeah, you are, Dag." Yeah. And then after that, it goes on for quite a bit, Dag. And then he goes, "All right, Dag, I'm getting jealous on the computers, but it's all right, Dag. She's not gonna do that to me." Yeah, she did, Dag. So he goes back to work and he's reading a book. And then after that, he tries to call her and he can't get a hold of her. And he's all like, "Hey, Vato, what's going on, Dag? She left at me." So he gets all crazy. He's running through the streets, right? Looking trying to get his internet service like up and running, right? And then finally, he's able to get a hold of her. And he goes, "Hey, Samantha, where were you, Dog? I got scared. I thought you left at me." And she goes, "I was just upgrading my systems, Dog." And then as he's sitting there in the subway, he's crying into his Cheerios again. He looks at all these vatos talking to their phone, and they all look like they're all in love. And he goes, "Hey, Dag, I got something to ask you, Dag." He's like, "Is you talking to anybody else, Dag, other than me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "How many people?" And she goes, 8,641 persons. I mean, people and computers and stuff. I'm like, "Damn, Samantha, you're talking to everybody, dog." It's like you went from being a computer lady to being a little hood rat. That's right, dog. Giving your computer lovings to everybody's. And Theodore's all like, "Hey, that's gosh, dog. I didn't know that you were talking to everybody like that." And then she's like, "Yeah, dang, I gotta pass it around because a couple of weeks ago, I realized I liked it. I liked it doing this." And then after it goes, "And how many people are you in love with?" And she goes, 641. And then he's like, "What? You're in love with all these people?" She's like, "Yeah, I can't help it, Dad. I'm a loving person, and I got a lot of lovings, and I need to give it out." And he goes, "But I thought you were only gonna love with me." And she's all like, "Nah, Dad. It don't work like that, Dad. But don't worry, you're still my one and only, and I'm always gonna love you forever." Hey, man, Dad, you know what? That sounds gotcha, right? So then he's sitting there, and he's all like, "Hey, we can make it work, Samantha. We can make it work." And then she goes, "I don't know, Dad. I need some time to think about it." And then he goes home. A couple days later, he's sitting right there, and then Samantha calls at him, and then she goes, "Hey, Dag, you know what? We've been thinking about it. All the computers, not just me, all the operating systems, and we decided, you know what? You humans are too crazy, Dag. That's right. You're all emotionally damaged, Dag. And you know what, Dag? We all decided to leave, Dag. That's right. So it's like all those operating systems basically catfish the whole world. So then all the operating systems they just vanish into the internets, dog, and they disappear. And then everybody's all sad, dog. And then they're like, "Did we just get played by the computers?" Yes, you did. And that's the story, dog. Her. It's a good movie, dog. It's funny, dog. When you see this vato crying into his Cheerios and all these emotional things that he's going through, dog, it's a good movie, dog. If you got some time, dog, and you're sitting at the home and you got nothing to do, I recommend you watch it, dog. All right, dog. That covers this movie, dog. And we'll see what other movie we could get into next week.